So there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Cardano ADA. Whales reach a 5-month high for the amount of Cardano ADA they currently hold, and we could be on the verge of seeing some huge price discovery. If you enjoy this sort of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's waste no time. Let's go. So we're going to start here on coin market cap. The total market cap of crypto globally is up 0.86% at the time of recording, sitting now at $3.7 trillion, with Bitcoin at 110,157.96, up 0.01% in the past 24 hours. But we're here to talk about Cardano, and there is a lot to talk about. It's currently at 61 cent 59, up 0.31%. And whales, Cardano whales, as it's correctly articulated in this article, see their holdings rise to a 5-month high, even as the price hit 60 cent. And look, I want to talk about why this could be, right? Because we've been talking about whales potentially selling their Cardano ADA over the past few days. And what we tend to see with this is we tend to see a lot of big players in the crypto space, exchanges as well, selling off big amounts of crypto, but they do this in order to basically buy it cheaper later. It kind of causes a cascade effect where it worries retail investors and people that have perhaps been here and they're perhaps just about in profit, with the recent pullbacks. It scares them out of the market. And ultimately, that is kind of what we've been seeing. We're seeing a lot of people throwing in the towel, giving up, and it's probably going to be the last potential, shakeout event. Trying to think of the right words, but they are trying to shake people out of the space. Again, I don't know how accurate it is, but we are seeing that Binance have been selling, and these things are very, very common. We're seeing talks of other exchanges potentially out of funds, bankrupt. Again, I don't believe that that is true, and if it is, I mean, like, the people running the show have done such a terrible job with such a profitable business model. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. Cardano price prediction: ADA tipped to outperform Solana and XRP. And again, I didn't want to get into this article because it's clearly a paid article for this, shitcoin here. Remits. I don't know. Don't go near it. It's probably not going to perform really well. That's my opinion anyway, right? So look, what I would say is, I've been trying to highlight this a lot, right? If we actually go and have a look at Cardano ADA and the charts, for example, and we sort of dig into it, we don't want to look at all. If we just look at the last 12 months here, give us a really good range, right? Because a lot of these projects started at different times, right? So Cardano ADA is currently up 78.16% in the last year, right? So if you purchased a year ago, right, you're probably not worried about this pullback. Like, I just want to articulate it to you in a way that might make sense, right? If you go to Solana, for example, and you look at it on the year, it's up 12.3%, for the year. So, maybe you'd be a little bit disappointed with that, right? It hasn't really moved that much. So I see these articles and I think to myself, well, Cardano ADA is already outperforming Solana. Like, could it outperform, say, XRP? I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe. I mean, if we look at XRP, I mean, it's done phenomenally well over the past 12 months. It's up 382.53% in the last year. So, I think that if ADA can get, in line with those sorts of, gains, then I think that's a real success. Like, I really do. And, you're talking about another, what, 200+% increase, so more than double its current price. And I think that's very achievable. But obviously, it depends whether XRP continues to do the same sort of numbers it's been doing over the last 12 months, right? So you've got to kind of take that into consideration. But I'd like to think that people are actually looking at the charts and actually getting a good idea of what's going on, because we're still seeing people talking about Bitcoin in a really positive light, in the fact that you should be only investing in Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is up 58.7% in the last 12 months. It's still underperforming in comparison to projects like XRP, projects like Cardano ADA. So, it always interests me. People say don't marry your bags, but some of these Bitcoin, maxis are married to their bags, right? And I've said many times, for me, Bitcoin is the store of value. Once we go into this parabolic move for altcoins that I honestly think is coming, and I think that it's not too far away, right? You don't want to be in Bitcoin. You want to be in altcoins. Altcoins is where you're going to build your generational level wealth. Once you've made it, then you put it into something that's a little bit more stable. But with that said, if we get spot ETFs for Cardano, XRP, various other altcoins, then ultimately, these assets are all likely to become more stable over time. So it's going to be really interesting. We're going into a different phase that we haven't seen before. Lots of different real world activity that we haven't seen before in blockchain. And obviously it's still really, really early, and it sounds mad saying that, but it really is. Cardano adds multilingual mimic support for Cardano assets, or addresses, I should say, v4.0.1. So again, just more upgrades, and this is again just really interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that we want to really sort of keep an eye on, particularly around the developments, right? We've got, how are the 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗍 Plasniks, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, updates security enhancements affecting the crypto payroll. So this again is just talking about the security improvements when it comes to the Cardano blockchain. Again, really, really positive. We've got Cardano news today. Cardano's virtual 67-cent level may spark a surge to $1.70. Again, $1.70 for me, I do feel is inevitable. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed in this crypto investing game, right? I need to be quite clear. I'm not a financial advisor. Treat this purely as entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Never invest more than you're willing to lose, because you do risk losing all of your money if you invest in cryptocurrency. Really want to be quite clear on that. Do your research, and best of all, actually needs to be said, go speak to a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. I think that is really, really important to do. And, people that don't do that will basically, end up finding themselves, up a creek without a paddle, for example, because you do risk losing all your money. So make sure that you're taking the right measures. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. What I don't want is people to actually lose a lot of money when it comes to their investment decisions. For me, it's really, really important that we do everything in the right way. So look, we would love it if you would support our channel by delegating your Cardano ADA to the cheeky crypto stake pool. The ticker is CHEEK, CHEEK. We have 7.4 million ADA in our stake pool already. I'd love to have you, using our stake pool, building your rewards, and benefiting from staking to our pool. All the details of previous earnings of ADA are in the description. There are links there for you to go and do your due diligence on the pool before staking. And then we've got Charles Hoskinson. In many ways, Cardano is a spiritual successor to Bitcoin. Again, he's been emphasizing the deep architectural similarities between the two networks, mainly around decentralization and the UTXO model. Again, I think that this is very true. I think that the technology beneath the hood for Cardano ADA is really superior to many others. And then we've got Unity nodes, which is another really big opportunity in my humble opinion. Basically with Unity, anyone can earn crypto rewards directly from their mobile phone by verifying the global telecom grid. Every verification call made through the Unity app installed on your mobile phone strengthens the network. Now, if you buy a Unity node, you get 200 license NFTs, you get some staked minute tokens, some staked world mobile tokens. They are locked for 24 months. But the really interesting thing here is their earning rewards calculator. If you were to operate all 200 of those licenses, you can earn up to $19,200 per month. Obviously this can vary. It does depend on network performance, market conditions, and operator activity. Definitely worth checking that out. Link in the description of the video. And do ask questions in the free educational Discord. The link is also in the description of this video. And then we got Cardano founder mocks Solana's meeting with 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗋 as inverse effect. As the debate resurfaces. Obviously, he's just joking about the fact that whenever 𝗗𝗀𝘀𝗰𝗋 talks about something going up, it tends to crash down. And ultimately, maybe that's what's happened with the price of Solana. Again, I love the banter aspect of things. I would like it if we were working closer together and in more harmony. But that's blue sky world. That's like wishful thinking perhaps. And ultimately, the bad rep that Cardano gets, and its level of equality when it comes to how it's portrayed compared to other assets in the crypto space does need to change. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that I've covered in today's video. I'd love to have more meaningful conversations with you in our free educational Discord. Over 70% of people that watch these videos aren't subscribed, so do subscribe. We really do appreciate it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.